Hello, and thank you for joining me today. You join me at the top of the highest pass in North Wales. And from here we're going to continue the journey across Wales from the border to the coast, all the way to Barmouth. Let's carry on. In part 1, I made my way from Crew Green Bridge on the Shropshire-Welsh border to Lake Vyrnwy, and then started to make my way up a mountain pass. The video ended with just over half of the ride still yet to be completed. As I made my way up the pass, I came to this tree which was completely blocking the path. So this is where we begin part 2 of this video, as I try to get past this tree and make my way up this mountain pass. So my choice here is to climb down here into this bracken, which is a bit of a drop. I'm not sure I fancy that, and go through the field and round, or you can see, I think it looks like people have been climbing this fence here and go around that way, but it still might require, there's another little fence to get over, a bit of climbing through the tree, but I can just about, I don't know if you guys can see on video, see the road. I think if we go where the trunk is, we might be able to make it over. Okay, let's try this. Back into your car, you ain't gonna get through. Let's see if we can find a way through here. We head closer to the main trunk. It's going to mean less climbing through branches. There's now a Tesla behind me. You at a 17-point turn to try and make it through. Turn around. There's no way he's getting through here. This is going to take something serious to shift this. I can see the road. I could get through quite easily. The bike is going to make it a bit trickier. What you need before a big climb, eh? Okay. Slide the bike through this gap. Yes, I can. That's the hardest part. I'm going to climb over. Now I don't know if you can see that. There's now 2 cars there. Neither are going to get through. Right. That's a big tree. Guys, I think we're through. Look at that. Fantastic. Nothing but a 700-foot ascent to the top of this mountain. Catch my breath after climbing through there. I'll catch my breath and we'll carry on. After I'd caught my breath, I did indeed carry on up this pass. although it wasn't long before I'd quickly ran out of breath. This road rises about 900 feet from Lake Vyrnwy, up to an elevation of 1,788 feet. That's 545 metres above sea level. And the thing that kept me going on this climb was knowing that I was going back down to sea level. From the top of this pass, the route is predominantly downhill. The breaks that I took along the way up this climb allowed me to take in the beautiful scenery that this valley provided as I made my way up it. As I got towards the top of the valley and officially entered Snowdonia National Park, the scenery became what I would call bleak yet beautiful. When we get the right weather in the UK, there really are some stunning places to ride, and this has got to be up there with the best. I soon approached a junction where I needed to turn right to make the final short ascent to the top of this pass. As I turned right, I noticed that on my right hand side was a cross. This cross gives this pass its name, Bwlch y Groes, which in English is Pass of the Cross. A cross has been here since medieval times, as this was a pilgrim's route from North Wales down to St David's in the south, and the pilgrims put this here to give comfort to lonely travellers as they made their way through. As a lonely bike rider making my way over this pass, comfort is something I could have done with, but more importantly I think I needed more oxygen and a few less pounds. However, I did make it to the top and was greeted with absolutely stunning views of the Welsh mountains. It was only once I got up here and read the information board that I found out that this is actually the highest mountain pass in North Wales, standing at 1,788 feet above sea level, or 445 metres. The information board also informed me that in the 1920s and 1930s this pass was regularly used by Austin's test drivers to test their cars. I can't tell you how good it feels to be at the top. My legs are burning. But from here, it's mostly downhill, so I'm going to carry on and make my way to Dolgellau and from there down the Mawddach Trail to Barmouth. Time to enjoy what I've earned climbing the other side of this pass. This road drops 1,200 feet in about 5 miles, as it makes its way down the mountain to the southern end of Lake Bala. This definitely was a welcome relief from all the climbing in the first half of this ride. But it wasn't time to relax. This was quite a tricky descent with some steep drops on the left hand side, hence the barriers as you can see. Although not much pedalling was required down this stretch of road, my concentration needed to be up and my hands firmly on the brakes. With this being a winding single track road, there wasn't much chance to really let the bike fly. I rarely let the speed go above about 30 miles an hour, as the view ahead simply wasn't good enough, even though the view ahead of the valley was pretty stunning. This road eventually ends at a T-junction, where I took a left and headed through the town of Llyn. From here we take a left onto the A494. This is the main road that runs between Bala and Dolgellau. This is a fast busy A road, but as the road follows a valley on its way to Dolgellau, there's not a lot of other choices to take, unless you want to do a lot more climbing. But I did find this single track road, not far from Llyn, which allowed me to have about 1.5 miles of quiet riding, before having to rejoin the busy A road. From Llyn I was going uphill again for about 3 miles. This was fairly gentle and compared to the mountain pass I'd just gone over, it didn't feel too bad at all. After that small climb it's a nice gentle descent all the way to Dolgellau. Not a massive amount to say about this section of the ride, but the car geek in me did get to enjoy this little beauty passing. Car nerds, if you know what that is, let me know in the comments. There's also some natural beauty on this part of the ride, as Cadair Idris comes into view at the end of the valley. Just a couple of miles out from Dolgellau, I took another detour onto a smaller road. This was the final climb of the ride, and involved a couple of hairpin bends as I made my way up the side of the valley. This was worth it as I got a great view of Dolgellau in the bottom of the valley and the mountains surrounding it. From here I made my final descent down into Dolgellau, and then over the River Mawddach and into the centre of the town. From the bridge I was able to enjoy some great views of the River Mawddach. This is the river I'll be following to make the last part of this journey towards Barmouth. The Mawddach Trail, which forms part of Route 8 of the National Cycle Network, goes from this car park here all the way into Barmouth. Unfortunately for me, it follows the route of an old railway line, so it's really very flat as it makes the final 10 miles of my journey to Barmouth. The majority of this section has this gravel hardpack surface. If I was only doing this part of the ride, I definitely wouldn't have chosen my road bike. Although it was perfectly possible to ride on this with it, as you can see, it definitely wasn't the most comfortable, and I would have preferred a mountain bike or a hybrid on this. This is a stunningly beautiful part of the National Cycle Network, and one that definitely deserves its own video. The closer you get to Barmouth, the more the views open up, and in the distance you're able to see the Barmouth Railway Bridge, which I'll be making my way across for the final part of this ride. I did get caught in another rainstorm, and the headwind at this point coming off the sea was extremely strong, but none of that could dampen my spirits as I made my way onto the Barmouth Railway Bridge. This bumpy wooden surface certainly wasn't suited to being on a road bike, but from the bridge you can enjoy fantastic views of Barmouth Harbour and the Mawddach Estuary. The bridge was completed in 1867 for the Aberystwyth and Welsh Coast Railway. It's 820 metres long. Because of the harsh conditions it's exposed to here, it's undergone a lot of restoration work in its time, including a 6-month period starting in 1985. And it's also due to be closed for another 13 weeks from the 2nd of September this year, 2023, for more restoration work to be carried out. Leaving the bridge I took a left turn and headed on the road towards Barmouth town centre, the end point of this ride at the beach. At this point I began to think about what I'd achieved. A 60-mile ride from border to coast across the country of Wales. Some people might ride 60 miles regularly and think nothing of this, as others might see that as an unachievable goal. But it's worth challenging yourself whatever your ability. Maybe ride across your county, across your town. A challenge will be different to each and every person. And that's it, I've reached the beach, ride over, and what a fantastic ride it was, through some of the best countryside in Wales. If this is a route you want to try, I'll leave a link to the route in the video description. I've made it to Barmouth. I can't tell you how happy I am. Now, I'm going to get some fish and chips and get chauffeured home. I hope you've enjoyed this video, which I'm guessing you have if you've watched it until this point. Please do subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, it really does make a difference, as do your likes and your comments on the video. There's also a super thanks button if you really want to show your appreciation. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.